Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and welcome to Millennia! This is a new upcoming 4X strategy game that is releasing on March 26th, and it's going to take players through 10,000 years of Earth history, with maybe a couple of alternate history twists along the way, if we're lucky. You'll see what I mean in just a bit. This game is developed by Seat Prompt Games and published by Paradox Interactive, who are sponsoring me to take a look at the game today, and of course a big thank you for that. Now, I'll be honest, the more I play around with this game, and the more test runs I've done, the more I appreciate it, because this game has some genuinely creative and innovative mechanics that are going to help separate it from a lot of its competition. And let's be frank with ourselves, the 4X genre is very saturated and dominated by some big games, like Civ, Old World, Humankind, and so on. I don't think it's fair to go into this expecting it to go toe-to-toe with a game like Civ. This is not going to be the Civ killer. What you should think of it as is like an indie game that's trying to innovate in an already very well-established market. And if you go into it with that expectation, you'll like this game a lot more for what it is. Now, of course, because this game is sponsored by Paradox, I want to make sure you guys know that there is a link in the description down below. If you guys like what you see as I play this, you want to learn more, there will be that link. You can go ahead and click on that. Otherwise, let's go ahead and jump directly into things, and I will try to explain things as I go. Now, I do think I'm going to play as Rome for this game just because the flag is cool, though it doesn't really matter who you play because all the different national bonuses here can be swapped out for whatever you want them to be. Some of these are going to be really good for you. Extra scouts can be nice, extra production, food, and so on, or culture. I'm going to stick around with the discounted envoys, though, and try to build around that, because I think that could be a very fun build. And here we go. Oh, okay. This is already kind of an unusual starting location, but let's go ahead and explore the map and find out what is around us so we know how to expand our capital of Byzantium. I did not name this, by the way. The game has decided that Byzantium is superior to Rome. You heard it here first. All right, let's go ahead and choose our research. Now, one thing that's different about research and ages in Millennia is that they are not necessarily the same linear path you're already familiar with in stuff like Civilization, right? In Civilization, you go from something like the medieval era into the Renaissance era, into the industrial era. It's a very set-in-stone thing. What you're going to find in Millennia is that as you technologically progress, there are opportunities to branch off into different ages with different objectives, depending on some decisions you made or maybe a bit of luck, either good luck or bad luck. You'll see more about that in a bit. That all starts after the Age of Bronze, so our goal right now is to beeline to this. In order to advance an age, you need to research a certain number of technologies from the existing age, in this case 3 out of 5. I'm going to start with the scouting tech because I think exploring the map rapidly is going to be very important for us. Then we're going to come back to our city. We're going to start working on building a town center to get some extra government XP. Alternatively, a scout cavalry may not be a bad decision, but this is the one that I'm going for. The reason being, government XP is a way of getting settlers, so the faster we get this, the more I can expand. It's also a way of reforming our current government. We are tribal. If I can get some XP, I can get more food, more science, more improvement points, upgrade our tiles. Lots of stuff we want. The faster we can snowball this, the better. And believe me when I say you're going to need a lot of government XP. I'm also going to go ahead and change some tiles I'm working. I see I have one pop working a water tile for 1 food right now. That makes no sense. I'd rather be working a grasslands tile for 2 food and grow in 4 turns instead. Oh, we found a goodie hut over here to the north. Perfect. Let's go ahead and pick this up. Looks like we get some knowledge or culture. I will take the knowledge. The faster that I can upgrade into the next age, the better. And also, by getting the scouting tech, it's going to give me a free scout. So the sooner I get this, the sooner I can see more of the map over in this direction. And I think that's going to be good for us. So there's that scout. We'll start exploring over this direction, over there. Let's see what else we got going on this way. We found barbarians already. Okay. Once barbarians spot you, they have a tendency to throw themselves at you, whether it's suicidal or not. If that happens, you can either run from them or try to find a good defensive location in the early game. Some forests, some hills, anything that gives you defensive bonus, and then just kind of let them do their thing. They'll throw themselves. Eventually, you'll get experience. They will die. It's going to slow down your expansion and your exploration, and that sucks, but it's better than risking losing a unit. All right, and over here, we have 6 government XP. We can reform our tribal government. I will go ahead and get the extra food so I can scale up just a tiny bit faster. For some new research, my next thing is going to be workers, because I want to get some improvement points to upgrade some tiles and also get a clay pit early on. Then after that, I'm either going to pick up farming, probably farming, or maybe tribal elders. Defenses isn't bad. This is a way of getting archers, and archers are great, but I don't know, a science building or the ability to get more food. Kind of hard to decide which one's going to be better. And now we have a culture power ready to go. So this is actually extremely useful. It's another currency that's building up over time in your cities. When it reaches its full meter, you'll have a power to activate, and the longer you play the game, the more powers you'll have, and some of them are really impactful. At the beginning of the game, there's only a couple things we could do. We could spawn ourselves a couple of war bands, which is not a bad plan for me right now, because a couple of extra units to run around and kill barbarians could be good, and also explore the map. Alternatively, we could go ahead and create a town, and this is one way of trying to expand my borders. I think the army might be the right call, but I'm going to expand my town right now and place one over here just to show you how this works. It needs to be placed adjacent to your existing territory. I don't want to place down here because I don't know what's around here. But over this direction, close to some of the deer as well as the wheat, this makes sense in order to expand the growth of my city. So we're going to place it right there. That's Antioch. It will take a bit of time for the borders to expand, but eventually we'll control this entire area. My city can only support one town right now. You can see that right up here, 1 out of 1. Over time, this will go up with some different technologies, so you'll have a chance to expand your borders further, but this is just one of those things. The sooner you place it down, the sooner you can grab all this stuff. Ooh, okay, I found a couple of important things over here with my scout. So there's another goodie hut, but also a natural landmark over here. It's currently undiscovered. If we can move our scout over here, we'll be able to do an expedition and discover it. Only one person can discover a landmark, then it is taken up. If we can get 3 of these, we in theory will be able to advance to a special age later on. I've never been able to pull that off. Maybe today will be the day. More government XP with our nomads here from this hut. That's actually great because I can use this to go for the extra knowledge. The faster we pick this up, the better. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and get this tropical rainforest. Now, we've got some extra XP here, you can see. Not only combat XP, which can lead to veterancy levels for your units, but also exploration XP. You may actually see there's something else over here. So beyond just government, we can get exploration, we can get warfare. There are many different types of experience in this game, including at some point things like art, diplomacy, engineering. There might be more beyond that, I'm not sure, but those are the 6 I know of. And every one of these, just like the government, has special powers. If I can get 20 exploration XP, I can get myself another scout, right? Or if I can get myself more military XP, then I'm going to get some volunteer free units. You can get these up by a lot of different things. Exploration mainly by exploring and finding things like landmarks. Warfare just by fighting and stuff like that, right? And more powers will be unlocked throughout the game. And actually, I just found some more exploration XP over here at another goodie hut. Perfect, let's go ahead and take advantage of that and spawn another scout. Okay, the workers technology is done. I am going to pop over to farming since it looks like we're going to have access to the wheat farm pretty soon. And now I want to start developing some tiles. Now, what is that going to look like? Well, if I come over here to these improvement points in the bottom left, we're generating only 1 per turn right now. I've got 17. I can use this to upgrade a number of tiles. In certain types of tiles, I can place down, let's say, a hunting camp and like some shrubland and stuff like that. A clay pit is something important that I just unlocked. I can place next to some grasslands. And if we do that, let's say right over here, I guess, what this is going to do now is it's going to start getting me extra production as well as some improvement points, so now we can upgrade tiles even faster, and I'm going to need that for a lot of farms. But also on top of that, we are going to be able to get a production good. This clay right here, right? This is what's being consumed and getting me all that stuff. Eventually, you'll be able to get production chains in Millennia. So clay will be able to become bricks, which is worth even more, right? And there are a lot of those things. Wheat can become flour, can become bread, and it progressively gets better and better value the more you process it. So that's one thing that is very different, right, from this game compared to other games like Civ. There's actually a certain level of city management production chain stuff that you have to build for, and I think that's kind of cool. Another free scout cavalry. Oh my gosh, is it my birthday? The more I explore, the better, seriously. Back at our city, I'm going to go ahead and build up a dolmen. This will get me some influence. Influence is the resource that gradually gets new tiles in your empire and expands your borders. Could also get things on the lookout. Notice that this building would get me some passive exploration XP. So different types of buildings are actually going to lend to these special powers depending on which one is most important to you. Another landmark. Okay, that's 2 out of 3. Ooh, also barbarians are about to attack my town. Towns do have some militia, though admittedly this is not much. I hope it doesn't die, because losing a town would really suck. Oh, it looks like we met another player. That looks like the Aztecs to me. Okay, depending on how far away they actually are, that could be bad. Regardless, at 6000 BCE, it looks like we are ready to advance, and since we are the first ones to do so, we get acknowledged as the trendsetter. Welcome to the Age of Bronze. New national spirits are available. I'll show you that in a second. Vassals integrate faster. Barbarian warlords can appear. That's actually scary, because if you don't have military units around back home, this is a very good way to get your towns destroyed, and that can be disastrous. Innovation and chaos, trade and diplomatic envoys. Yeah, you'll see more about that in a second. Let's go ahead and take a look at the new domains, these national spirits. So the first person to enter an age has their pick of the litter. There are several different types, and the first person to pick a version of these spirits gets some bonus XP for their respective category. We've got exploration, warfare, engineering, and diplomacy, and these are very powerful and drastically change up your game depending on what you want to do. Exploration, for example, we've got the Wild Hunters. You pick this up, you can spend exploration XP, just like you would with your government reforms, in order to unlock bow hunters and reveal elephants on the map, and so on. There's a lot of benefits that you can pick up. Raiders is extremely powerful and possibly overpowered, honestly. You can get a ton of free military units. Tons of them, and they're good. Like, every single one of these gets you more. The more you fight, the more you get, right? And then you just kill everybody in the entire world. Mound Builders is really good. I like this one. It's an engineering one that gets you burial mounds, ways of getting some extra culture and sanitation and stuff. Not bad. Olympians is what I'm going to go for, though. This works well with my envoy cost reduction we saw when I first chose my civ. And this is diplomatically focused. A bit weird, but I think trying to go for a diplomatic tall game is very viable in this game, and is kind of what I'm shooting for. So let's select the Olympians, and I'll explain more as you go why this can be really good. Now, in the Age of Bronze, we have a whole new set of technology to look at, so you can see we can still go back and pick these up if we want to. That said, I think what I want to go for is probably community first. This is going to get me access to things like kilns and mills, which I can use to upgrade my clay and my wheat. So I think this has a lot of value. Then probably officials, because this works well with a diplomatic game. And from there, I'm not sure. Belief is good for some science and culture, mining to work the hills that I've got. Not too sure what I want to do here. Let's do community first. Now, what I want to point out, though, is there are different ages available to us from here on out. The Age of Iron is the typical historical progression, right? And you can see if we just get 3 techs, we'll automatically be able to move here. If, however, we discover one more landmark, we could go to the Age of Heroes, which is similar but different and unlocks whole new mechanics, and the entire world will be into a new bizarre era. Or there could be a Crisis Age. If we kill 6 units from other nations, that is to say not barbarians, we could get the Age of Blood, which is, again, going to change up technologies and a lot of stuff going on. The entire world will be plunged into a state of perpetual war, non-stop murder right and left. Pretty good if you're going for a raider game. That's not what I'm doing, though. The Age of Heroes could be fun, but I've never been able to pull that off. Back at our city, the first thing we're going to go ahead and build up is a meeting hall. Now that we finished with the dolmen, I want that passive diplomatic XP. The more we can build that up, the more I can upgrade my Olympians. Oh, and here's something else really important. Okay, what's better for me here? Knowledge or innovation? Ooh, boy. Probably the knowledge, but innovation is a very fun mechanic, and I do want to show that off for you, because this is new in this particular age. So up here in the top right, you can now see we have innovation and chaos. Innovation is something that is going to passively start building up. When it reaches 100%, we're going to get some sort of a randomized benefit for our nation. It could make a particular building even better than usual. It could do a lot of different things. These are always great for you. The other flip side is going to be chaos. The more unrest we have in our civilization, the more cities we conquer and so on, that's going to create chaos. And again, if this builds up to 100, bad things are going to happen. Always try to avoid this, though if you can't, having a lot of money on hand can get you out of a pinch to deal with a crisis. Every time this reaches 100, though, the progress you make per turn does kind of go down and reset, so it's something you have to constantly be investing in. And actually, if we go to our tribal government with 25 XP, I actually could get tribalism to be reformed, which I'll do, and that's going to get me more innovation per turn, plus some extra culture so we can get more of these powers. So now I'm getting 20 innovation per turn. That's pretty nice. Oh, and I did find another landmark over here, but it looks like the Aztecs got there first. All right, so I'm not going to be able to use this to push me into a Age of Heroes. We were this close. Ah, dang it. Holy crap. Hold on. I've got some more knowledge right here, or I can get investment point. No, we're going to take the knowledge. Just go ahead and boost this up. That's another wonder. Oh my gosh, we actually found 3. If I can get this before another player does in like 2 turns, we've got an Age of Heroes. Oh, baby! Oh, also some barbarians are on the way. Uh-oh. I'm so excited. I've literally never been able to pull this off. Okay, back here at the city, we've got a 4th person who's currently doing nothing. We could go for an upgrade to, let's say, the forest or tile and get some logs, which is worth production at the cost of some food, or... what I should be able to do is take this wheat and get our first production chain up and running. So right now, I believe each one of these wheats is worth 3 food. So this is a 6 food tile right here, which is great. But what we can do is take a regular tile that doesn't have anything on it that I don't care about, get a mill, and this will take 2 wheat and make them into 2 flour, which is worth 6 food for 1 worker. So if I click right here, for example, yeah, this is fine, boom. Now we're growing in 3 turns. That is a lot more food being produced. We've got 19. That's good. Another culture power available. We could go for a Eureka, which is a way of getting some extra knowledge, and that's not bad. We could also go for raising an army. I don't need to do a truce. No one's attacking me. You can't create more towns. We already said we have a limit to how many we can do, so that's not going to help me much. So is it better to go ahead and raise some armies knowing that the barbarians are on the way? Or would it be better to get some extra science and finish this just a bit faster? I want to force the Age of Heroes before anyone else can get to it. Because, right, whoever has more science is going to be able to be the trendsetter. So I need to go for Eurekas, get this up nice and fast. That finishes up with officials. What comes next? I like the mining. I don't know if I have any iron around, so we could get quarries for limestone. Discipline for more units. This is a way of boosting up your army size. If we're going to an Age of Heroes, I think I need strong armies. So we're actually going to do something weird, and we're going to go for discipline. This is not what I normally would do, but I actually think we need it. And with this envoy, what do we do? That's a great question. We want to send it to a little city-state, like maybe the one over here in Malmo, or maybe the close-by one in Delhi. There's barbarians on the way. I don't know if sending my envoy over here makes a lot of sense. We could also just hold tight for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and try to grab Delhi. So an envoy can do a lot of things. If you stack them up with another player, and we did find the Aztecs Empire down here, we'll open up diplomatic options with them, and that's good. We can also use it to instantly take an independent city-state and make it a part of my empire. And let's discover the Borneo rainforest. Thank you. Oh my god. Age of Heroes, boys. And here's our first innovation, Torchbearers. Make the Hippodrome a better building, get some extra diplomacy XP. That works well with my Olympians. The Hippodrome is something we actually have to unlock, so I don't have this right away. But do this, now it's going to reduce unrest, it's going to build up culture, it gets me bonus culture for every nation that has an envoy, and now it also gives me diplomacy XP. An amazingly good building for us. And now over here in Delhi, let's use my envoy, and we are going to vassalize this minor nation. All right, so now the city is mine, just like that. Now here's the thing about cities. Whether you vassalize them diplomatically or you settle a new city, you do not control them directly. They are vassal states, and they're going to take time to integrate into your empire. When they finish this, you can spend government XP to annex the city, and then you can control it directly. In the meantime, though, it provides a small amount of income, and it can build up its own prosperity and eventually develop its own tiles. It struggles to do this on its own, though. Send a merchant here, and prosperity will build up. More prosperity just means more income. Another landmark? Are you kidding me? We found 4 of them? This is ridiculous. What's happening? Okay, I think that's good for now. Let's just go ahead and move on. Now, something I do want to address kind of up front. I may have wanted to do this a little bit earlier, honestly. Oh, gosh, getting around to this is going to be really hard. Maybe I wanted to do this earlier, though. I think that people are going to look at this game, and they're going to look at the graphical style and say, yeah, this ain't for me. And I'll be honest, I kind of get it. I was very turned off by the aesthetic of this game when I first saw it as well. To me, this just kind of felt like a very lackluster presentation. These are indie graphics, right? I'm spoiled by games like Civ. This is just kind of right? But I think you're maybe starting to see as I play through this, put this aside for now. Don't use this and hold this to the same standard as the really big established titles, and instead think about it from the perspective of a 4X game that has new stuff, like the Ages, like this experience system and everything else. And that's going to continue getting more and more interesting as time goes on. Trust me, it gets pretty cool. Like, you gotta admit, the addition of things like production chains in and of itself is a pretty interesting change. It really does shift up the game quite a bit. Barbarians are attacking and burning down my wheat. Well, that's rude. Hopefully they attack Antioch. I've got 3 warbands that are ready. We can spend some money to rush our culture an extra turn. I'll go ahead and do that. And then do we want to raise an army? I am making a fair bit of money, and there are a lot of barbarians around. I need to do this here in Delhi. Let's go ahead and get 2 warbands so that as they attack, we are going to be completely fine. I really wish that I had held off on that cultural power by 1 turn, though. I got enough XP to get the Olympic Games. The Olympic Games is a new cultural power we'd have access to, where I can get some various different XP, and the more I upgrade it, the more we can get, including money and science. So the more people I meet, the more people I'm friends with, the more our culture is going to help boost the XP of every other axis of my government. Let's take a look at something here. We can see that I went for Olympians, Japan went for warriors. Okay, so they are militaristic, and they have lots of strong military units. So they're probably going to be aggressive. That's a problem. The Aztecs went for God King. They're going to be building tall, probably. That's interesting. Okay. Over here, by the way, we can see that there are going to be some special screens for when people do attack you. So we can see here units are going to take their turns and attack and blah, 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 blah. I've heard some people say they really like this part of the game because it shows kind of the tactics that are happening instead of just a random dice roll. And there are tactics, right? Having line infantry to protect archers and stuff does matter. That said, I don't really like this screen. To me, this is kind of a thing that doesn't add a lot of value, if you know what I mean. Okay, we finished with discipline. That means that I can now choose to move to the Age of Heroes. 13 turns. Oh my god. I've literally been trying to do this for a very, very long time. This feels great. Can also spend my Warfare XP in order to upgrade these units to Spearmen instead of Warbands. That is absolutely something I want to do. Stronger units, please. And we could actually spawn a settler now, too. If we did that, where would I go? That's a good question. We could place another city close to Delhi, and that would actually create roads to make it easier to navigate. That said, placing down a town by Delhi would probably do the same thing. I could expand up this direction toward a bunch of hills, try to find some iron. Could expand down this direction. There's some wheat, plus a lot of jungle around. Shrublands and stuff, maybe. Going down over here is probably too far away. The thing is, there's so many forests and hills in the way that getting around to defend my cities is going to be extremely difficult. So I don't know how well that's going to work. That said, I feel like we need to try spawning some cities. So let's place one in Byzantium. That does take up one of my pops. And I think we're going to start moving up this direction. There's some cotton around, a river, some hills, lots of forests I can chop down. This doesn't seem like a bad area to go. I'm going to place down a kiln, probably in this useless shrubland over here. This means that if I can get another person in our city, which we're already doing, actually, I can convert the the clay into bricks. So 1 production and 1 improvement point becomes 2 production and 2 improvement points. So for 2 workers, it's the exact same as having 2 clay pits. The difference is now I'm also passively making engineering XP, which to this point we haven't discovered. We also found another neutral city, Brasilia, which I could try to conquer right now, but that would get me chaos, and if I can get envoys, we can do that for free. So right now, I'd say that's not a high priority. Oh gosh. Okay, hang on. Spawn a merchant, or get some diplomacy XP. Oof. What's better here? A merchant is very valuable and costs Diplo XP. This is the most cost-effective solution. This is the one that would let me get cheaper envoys, though. I think we're going to get the diplomacy XP. We're going to come over here, and we're going to go ahead and grab the neutral ground. Or do we want to get the hippodrome? If we go to our city, our capital over here in Byzantium, what are we building right now? We're working on a market. It'll be done in 4 turns. I actually think I'm going to go for the hippodrome, so I can build this in my city soon, because the sooner I get this, the more culture and the more diplomacy XP I get. Cheaper envoys, though, is obviously great, because it means I can get a lot more of them. We're going to go ahead and clear out some of these barbarian camps, which is great. Doing so gets you more rewards. Spawn a crossbow at the cost of getting 10 chaos per turn. Ooh. It's nice, but I think I'd rather take the 15 production back at Byzantium and really kick stuff off. That's going to be great. Also, we can go to our culture and host our first ever Olympic Games. Could also go for things like the cutting edge, which is a way of getting more innovation per turn. We're about to actually get something there. Let's do this. We get a bunch of XP. The more people we have met, the more we get. All right. Let's get that dang hippodrome. Oh my gosh, this is going to be huge. Also, I can do something else here as far as my engineering XP. So there's a lot you can do with this. You can get some extra improvement points. You can get some pioneers who build outposts in different areas, which is kind of like a way of temporarily expanding your borders around some resource you need. You spend some points and you send those trade goods back to your city. It can be nice. But I'm going to expand the town, specifically Antioch, right over here. So once this becomes a level 2 town, now I can choose a specialization. In this case, I'll take, let's say, a farming town. What this now means is every adjacent farm, including eventually this grasslands tile, which is why I've been saving it, will get me extra food. So I just got an extra 2 food in my city by doing this. Eventually, I can make that even more value. This grasslands tile will be worth 4 food, even though it doesn't have wheat on it. In fact, I can just do that right now. There we go. So even though I may not be working it, boom, Antioch is now worth 4 extra food there. See? Another innovation, masons. Limestone and marble gives extra production. Ooh. That actually could make working these hills worthwhile with mines if I had that tech. Because then we'd be able to get some good stuff. Also, Japan just surpassed me in science. But fortunately, they are also working toward the Age of Heroes. So they are slightly ahead of me, but we're still going to end up having the same result right now. I'm not going to lie, that actually scared me for a moment. I actually thought we were about to lose the Age of Heroes because another Civ was better than me in science. That was going to make me very angry. Okay, Age of Heroes officially begins. A hero unit spawns in the homeland. Send heroes to explore quest landmarks. Gain veterancy on your heroes to complete more difficult quests. Complete 4 to unlock the Parthenon building, which is like a wonder. And then whole new governments are going to be unlocked. I'm pretty sure I could take, like, let's say this scout and make him into a hero right now at the cost of warfare XP, which is one of the reasons I've been holding on to these scouts, because now it's a really strong unit. And look, there's a quest. Yggdrasil. That requires at least 1 level in veterancy, but this guy has 2, so that's fine. What other kind of quests are around here? Looks like we've got a monster, some riddles, a trapped tower. Okay, more monsters. Not as many quests as I would expect, prophecies up that direction, but yeah. So this is a whole new area of the game that normally you would not have any access to if you had moved on to the Age of Iron. There would be no heroes, and these things would be completely hidden. So this is a very interesting direction the world is taking right now. And now that I am also in the Age of Heroes, we can take a look at our science. This is different than what you would normally see. Things like storytelling, glory, oracle, spirituality. These are not texts that are available during the Age of Iron. They're similar, though. A lot of the same sort of stuff can be done, paper makers and so on, some temples and so on, right? But these are all special versions just for the Age of Heroes, and they really are going to help with a lot of other stuff. Quests have extra reward choices. That could be kind of good for me, right? Glory, get yourself a bathhouse for a ton of sanitation instead of an aqueduct, sure. A mausoleum, Here's an oven for some bread. Extra towns become available. The Oracle can get me what? Prophecy, spawn another hero at the target capital. Okay. I think I need to go for storytelling. This is going to get me access to diplomacy XP with paper makers. Take logs, make paper. Then we can get things like a poet, which takes paper and makes poems, and also gets me science, and I desperately need more science. I don't like that Japan beat me. I'm only making 3.1. Also, more quests could be good, and also, here's another science building. Perfect. I'm going to take another envoy here with neutral ground. So with this envoy, do we take another city, or do I try to get some relations with other people? I think I'm going to go up to Brasilia, since this already has a road connecting it, it looks like. So it's somewhat easier to reach. We've also discovered we have a couple sources of iron in Delhi. Okay, that's going to be useful to know in the future. Nothing in my own home mountains, though. Okay. So over here at Yggdrasil, let's go ahead and go on our quests, since we have a high enough veterancy level. And this gets me knowledge, combat XP, and we can complete the expedition or exploration. No, science absolutely is the better way to go. Let's pick that one up. Grab Brasilia as my new city. Okay, there's a goodie hut over here we missed. Plus, problems. Good. Notice your cities have needs, by the way. So right now we have a food need, which I'm overdoing by a long shot. We also have a housing need, which I wish this UI would improve a little bit faster. There we go. Housing, and as long as you have enough of this, your needs are being met. But once your population continues to grow, this will start going down. The higher this gets, the more demanding your people will be. So at some point, we're going to need things like sanitation. We're going to need things like religion. We're going to need luxuries, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and fight a monster, gain some more XP, thank you. And I am going to pay to rush my culture because there's something else I want to do. Right now, we have a special ability called a peaceful revolution. We can actually instead, if we wanted to, reform our government forcibly using government XP, but I'd rather do the culture so we don't have any chaos or anything like that. This is going to get rid of my tribal government and replace it with something new. We could either go for an imperial dynasty, which is basically going to focus a lot on making your capital city as good as possible, or we could go for a kingdom, which is a way of building up your vassals. It also works really well with a diplomatic focus, which is what I'm doing. So we're gonna go for a kingdom, but both are viable with different circumstances. Now, we could make settlers a lot cheaper. Could also go ahead and make envoys a lot cheaper, which is a way of snacking up all the city-states. So I'm gonna pick this up. Now an envoy is only gonna cost me 9 diplomatic power. That's like nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and spawn 2 envoys. We're gonna start working our way over here. Malmo and Luxor over here. I wanna grab both of these cities. We also want to upgrade our government building to a seat of power, which not only gets me even more government XP, but also some diplomacy XP, which is why the kingdom government form works so well for us. We've now also completed 4 quests, which not only gets me more exploration XP and so on, but of course that means we finish whatever that bonus is. So this is great. Awesome. We can keep doing more quests, and we will. But what else do we want to do? More Diplo XP, government XP, We'll continue down the Diplo route, and next we go to the monster. I need to get this hero some more XP. Never mind, we're actually at Varancy level 2, which means I can go to Trap Tower. I assume the higher level the quest, the more rewards you can get. So that's why we want to grab as many of these as we can before all the other players get the good stuff. Never mind, someone just grabbed this monster quest over here. So there's another hero around I haven't seen yet. Uh-oh. Well, we better grab this fast before they do. Ooh, there's a Japanese hero. He's making his way. What's your veterancy level? Can I see? I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure I can beat you, fool. Good lord, there are a lot of barbarians in these areas. Good thing I've got some really powerful heroes ready to slay. Also, storytelling is done. Perfect. Okay. So with that, move on to probably glory to get things to the bathhouse. We're going to need methods of getting sanitation soon, plus the oven works, and wouldn't mind having extra towns. Though if you're going to have a lot of towns, that means you need a lot of culture in order to place them, which can get very tedious. Anyway, over here in Byzantium, we should now be able to place down a paper maker, get some of that Diplo XP. We have 2 foresters making me logs, and this is kind of the only tile I can place it on, so we will do that. Perfect. So now I'm making a lot of extra money. Not science, unfortunately. We need books for that, but there we go. And I'm going to be making the extra Diplo XP. Grab that level 2 quest, the Trapped Tower. What do we want? Ooh, what? Hang on, hang. Because we finished storytelling, I get something else. Bring the wax and feathers the prisoner requests. Spawn Icarus? Oh, hello. I mean, I have to do this. How could I not? Perfect, thank you. Whoa. All right, we got a flying boy. And do I know of any more quests, or are they all gone? It seems like they are all gone. It's interesting that none spawned in this area. I wonder if the quests primarily spawn around whoever originated the city of the Age of Heroes, so that they are able to get more of the quests done, and that's the reward you get. That would be interesting. And let's see, do I want to do another Eureka for 25 science, which is a lot. I think we want more XP. Host more Olympic Games, 37.5 across the board. Ooh, we can get more upgrades. Do I want to go for more defense on all of my line units, or do I want to save up and work towards some of these? Or do I want to get myself some merchants and build up the prosperity of my vassals? Ooh, it's a really hard decision, to be honest. All of these are completely valid options. What does the Parthenon do for us, by the way? Interesting. Unrest, culture, and bonus knowledge for every completed quest, of which I've done many. Well now. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, how can I say no? I like all of those things. Those are all great. Well, I'm going to take record keeping as my next power up for the Olympians. We do need to get 3 envoys deployed in other nations. That's going to be important for us at some point. I also feel like I need to annex another city. Let's go ahead and annex Mediolanum over here. Now it's shrinking. That's not going to work. Hold on. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and place down a couple of plantations. Get that cotton up and a-running. That's going to be worth food like a grasslands tile, but also some money. So I like that. And then we can start expanding this as we see fit. Ah, dang it, my envoy is going to get captured by a barbarian. There's nothing I can do to avoid that, unfortunately. We can try to run, but it's not going to matter. He's going to see me, and he's going to chase after me. It's what they do. It's just like the Reavers from Firefly. Ugh. Yep, goodbye. Dang it all to heck. Seriously, just get rid of these dang barbarian camps. They really are very, very annoying. We're going to go ahead and start establishing some envoys. So Japan, for example, we now have. Which means we have a bunch of new options. We could send some gifts, improve relations, open up embassies, and so on, eventually leading to some treaties. And you can imagine, getting an extra 2.5 culture would be huge, right? This would be like a 50% boost in culture. Knowledge, that's a lot too, right? These things matter. So this is where I think that actually having a whole load of envoys could end up being a very good thing for me. Playing diplomatic and getting friends, not a bad plan. I'm going to try to settle another city, by the way. I think placing down over here could be pretty good. A fair bit of open space to work with. Could get a forestry town up over here and really ramp up a lot of wood production. So how much is the Parthenon really worth to me now? It just says bonus knowledge per completed quest. We're up to 4.8 science. Does it say anywhere? 4.5? Hold on, maybe I can figure out exactly how much value I just got per quest here. 1.5 from the Parthenon, and that's for finishing, what, 6 quests-ish? Okay. Not sure exactly how that calculates. Still, I'm glad to have it. This is effectively a better library. Speaking of which, let's get the Hall of Heroes, because that is effectively a library. And I need that knowledge. Seriously, even now would be like a 20% boost to my science. I'm glad to have Glory done. What comes next? I mean, oracles and stuff could be kind of fun for a lot of culture. If I had gold, this could be good. I don't have gold right now, though. Spawn another hero. I don't need that. Spirituality would be interesting. I don't have excess logs, though. I'm going to be making paper. But artists would be a way of rushing out some extra culture. And then diplomatic actions like gifts become a lot cheaper, too. Ugh, if only I had some extra limestone. I don't know about any of that, though. Could be better to go for things like some stone, maybe some catapults, go for some aggression against the Aztecs. That could be a thing. What I really want is smelting. Because with smelting, I'd be able to get some serious production if I only had access to some metal. But I don't. I think it might make sense to just go ahead and grab things like construction. Get access to better walls, get access to some catapults and stuff like that. I really, really, really would have loved to go for smelting, though. That would have been so much better. And it's not that we'll never get it. There's a lot of cities that I eventually can annex that have plenty of iron around them. It's just, it's gonna be a while. I'm also gonna go ahead and place down one of those poets. I know I was talking about that. We'll go ahead and do that now. Get that. Boom. So as long as that's being worked, we're good. Why do I not have... Oh, right, this farm's on fire. Ah, I don't have enough points. Ah, we're not making as much food anymore, but that's fine. All right, so now we have poetry. That's getting me arts XP, which you haven't seen yet, but that's now building up. Not to mention we should have even more knowledge. So what does arts XP do? Right now, it mostly can do things like help reduce unrest and get some extra population in your little regions that have less than 10 population. That could be kind of good. We could also promote our cultural exports and make vassalized territories get more prosperity. It's good. We like art. It works well with my current build. That said, it's kind of a big investment. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off with the Olympians here, by the way. So this is now all done. We've got all these benefits. Next time we do Olympic Games, we're gonna get a lot of value. So culture is extremely good for me right now. And if I can just get some more envoys deployed, this is an opportunity to get some extra XP, plus something called social fabric tolerance. That's not gonna be until age 5, though. Gotta start working on that bathhouse in our capital. We're almost at 11 population. Once we do that, our needs are gonna go up. Might actually want to consider pulling back on some of our food production, which seems weird. But, like, I don't necessarily want to grow yet. If we do that, we're kind of introducing some problems. I think I might want to rush the culture. We're going to host an Olympic game. And, darn it, we did not get a bunch of freebies. I was kind of hoping we'd have an option to maybe get some money or some knowledge, but that did not happen. All right. Well, what I can do is go over here and install satrapies, which now means even without merchants, all of our vassals are slowly gaining prosperity. They don't really do a good job of doing that on their own, right? Right now, they're still seeing it here at 100%. I'm not getting extra income. If I had a merchant, it would go up over time. But now, without even having to spend all the Diplo XP, we are starting to see that happen. Also, Persia is already advancing us on to the next age. So I haven't made any progress on that. I'm still behind. And Japan is at 20% as well. So is the Aztecs. So everyone is ahead of me. That should say a lot about the current status of my science. We're in trouble. It probably has a lot to do with the fact that I still only am controlling 2 towns directly. I should probably get a lot more of those, if I'm honest. Well, I guess now's a good time to go ahead and start spawning some merchants. So let's go ahead and do that in a couple of places over here, for example. And we will now deploy the merchants, which means we should see as of next turn that our prosperity is going up. Oh, and there's a sanitation need in Byzantium. I told you that was going to happen, and there it is. So that's why we are currently trying to build up that bathhouse. And it looks like we get about 10% prosperity per turn with a merchant. Good. So now we're going to start popping off, I hope. This might mean that we're going to start seeing all of our vassal cities start producing more and more income, including science, culture, everything that I am going to need. The higher that gets, the more I can start to catch up. I don't really want to be behind with the Age of Kings. I kind of feel like I have to start working on this, even though 17 turns is still way too long. Let's also go ahead and start sending envoys. Crap, there's still a camp here. This might be dangerous. We'll find out. I got a camp snuck over here into the Mayans. I've got one with the Japanese. So if I can get one more, we'll be in a slightly better spot. There we go. That should be 3 envoys, which means we can now get our legacy. Done. Looks like Persia has pushed us into the next age. Age of Kings begins. Castles can be specializing in outposts, providing culture. We can get culture per religious population by founding or joining religions. Founding or join them is now a culture power. New national spirits unlocked. In my experience, religions are difficult to work with in this game. I don't know if I'm just crazy in this. Maybe we can see later. But there's only a couple of buildings in the entire game that provide religious needs. And once your population builds high enough, you inevitably create a crisis for yourself. I don't know. Maybe I'll get to show you that later. In the meantime, let's integrate another city, because I need one of those. And we'll also set up an outpost over here with my pioneer. This now gets me access to some fish. We could also spend some of our points to get a trade post, which then sends a copy of iron to our capital. Same thing can be true with the iron over here. There we go. All right, Age of Kings. Now, if I want to form religions, I could, but what I want to do is take a look at the national spirits. Looks like machinery and chivalry have been taken. Okay. What are my other options, then? What would make sense here? Chivalry actually might have made sense. Because if I could have done this and gotten a lot of art XP, vassal populations and stuff could make some sense for me. This would be actually pretty good. It's tempting to go for this even though I wouldn't get the XP bonus. Alternatively, we really could go for a religion this game. And if I'm gonna do that, then theologians wouldn't be a terrible plan. We could use this to get access to some special religious buildings and really boost up my faith. Never done this before. Yeah, if there's any way to make a faith work, this might be it. Let's give theologians a go. This now means that art experience is very important to me. We need to get that up and running quickly. Scientifically, what makes sense here? Organized religion. Right. Yeah, no. Get things like the holy sites and stuff like that. Get the abbeys. Get the large temples. That said, there's something to be said about things like feudalism. This will let me start working some really big farms and plantations, right? So I can get even more food, start building tall. And then, of course, there's professional army. You know, just start getting better troops. Go kill my neighbors. I think I'm going to try going for feudalism so we can start boosting up our population, but we really need to be looking at things that get me more science still. Very important. Oh, I didn't even check. What kind of new ages do we have available here? Age of Discovery. Get some docks. Okay. Crisis Age. This is the one that I always seem to trigger here. If you don't have enough religion meeting your needs, and I mean like even one person in your empire being unhappy, then you're going to hit the Age of Intolerance pretty quickly, so that's a crisis. And then if you can be a lot stronger than anyone else, you will be able to get the Age of Conquest. I am not much stronger than everyone else. I'm sorely tempted to get myself some prospectors and try to find gold in my nearby hills. And I think I will. We're going to do that because if I can find some gold, which I did here, for example, get the gold, eventually I can start getting things like jewelers, and that's a way of getting a fair bit more art XP. Well, I say that. I mean, the gold actually wouldn't be worth as much as I think. Okay, maybe not. But whatever. It's a good idea in theory, right? Lots of gold! Religious icons! Hooray! So we found a religion now. Yes, we found a religion. Oh boy, what do we want? There's a lot of symbols. There's no eclipses, though. That always makes me sad. Fine. The cult of Pravus and all of my gamers live in a stinky little den. That's where they worship me. In their mama's basements. Now here's something weird I only just noticed. So the monastery that I picked up here, this actually is a tile improvement, but it goes on hills that are not a part of your empire. It has to be done on an outpost, like I've done out over here. So these hills right here that I'm using for an iron mine to send back to Byzantium for the production actually could have been a monastery, but I couldn't build a monastery right here, which is kind of weird. So we may need to consider placing down a bunch of pioneers just to grab more resources, and then also be able to place down monasteries so we can control where we are getting the extra faith. Fascinating. Well, I do think it's worth placing down some pioneers regardless. If I can start getting enough of these improvement points together, and we're starting to get there, I can deliberately send things like, let's say, some coal, which is worth a couple production, to one of the cities where I am struggling to get enough production, right? Things like that could make my life a bit easier. So, like, let's make an outpost right here. That's worth a bunch of iron. I'd be able to get myself, yeah, some of this, start sending it places. But here's the monastery I was talking about. There it is. So it's worth art XP, plus the whole religious text thing, which is worth religion. And we should be able to decide which city it goes to. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. Zulu and the Aztecs are now at war. This smells like an opportunity for me. Possibly get in here, snag a city or two away from the Mayans, reduce the competition, own this corner of Pangaea. And now that feudalism is done, you'll notice we have a bunch of little green arrows. These mean that we can upgrade some of these improvements. We can get a plowed farm. And instead of only getting 2 copies of wheat, we would get 4 copies of wheat, which means we can get a lot of good stuff. I'd love to upgrade my mills so I could get even more flour. Same thing is true with some of these plantations, get more copies of cotton. If I had access to the weaver tech, I could place a bunch of those down. That'd be a way of getting some money. Another innovation, pay homage. All farming towns give more wealth. I got a few of those at least. Yeah, I mean, that's probably fine. I actually think I could probably get rid of this farm over here instead, replace that with another plowed farm over here. The problem is, all these upgraded tiles require a lot of development points. And I'm not as good at producing those as I would like. I could go to my city and say, hey, I have nothing here I want to build. Go ahead and levy the workers, and that would be a way of getting a lot extra. Another 10 per turn. Not a bad way to go. And I think I will do that at least temporarily so I can upgrade more of these tiles and get more productivity. All right, let's see if we can do a war here. Let's go ahead and attack the Aztecs. Bye, buddy. We're taking you down! I do have a catapult. We will see how good this does for us. It should do extra damage against this palisade. Wish I could have a range unit as well. That would have been nice. But oh yeah, we knocked down those walls real quick, which means his militia are taking pretty heavy damage. Nice. I think we're even gonna... Oh, his settler is the only thing keeping it together. Well, that's just ridiculous. Tell you what, we're gonna move in with our hero. Let the hero go nobly kill the settler. Bye. Now the city is mine. Okay, so we take this from the Aztecs. Notice we gain some chaos. 20 per turn now coming on. This will go down as chaos events fire. All right, so it's not the end of the world, but it is gonna hurt. Medieval University is done. Guilds, maybe. Or machinery and go for much better logging camps, of which I do have many. And this could be worth a ton of production for me. Let's integrate our next city over here, Caesarea. All right, now this city needs to get improved. Honestly, I feel like we're just starting to find our footing in a lot of ways. My culture production is actually really quite good now. And the research is starting to pick up. By the time I see the next people moving for the next age, that will give me a clue as to whether we're doing okay or terribly. Ooh, we've got our first chaos. Okay. So vassals across the entire empire would have rebels. Oh boy, that'd be difficult to deal with. Good thing we have some money on hand, we can just pay it off. Now that's the thing about chaos. It's gone down, it's going to keep building up, but it's not so bad. As long as you have a lot of cash on hand, you can weather the storm. Okay, let's try assaulting into Texcoco. How strong do we think they are? Oh, they got stone walls. Oh, this is going to be fun to deal with. Okay, can we at least knock that down and soften them up for the next attack? The answer is yes. I have not lost any units. Okay. Though he'll be able to keep shooting at me, so we need to get in here and take advantage of the broken walls and see if we can kill off all these little militiamen, which it looks like we can. Then we take out the tower, and boom, that city is mine too. Ha! Now, of course, this does mean we're getting a lot more chaos. There are ways to get around this, a little bit, besides just the money trick. You can use your culture to institute propaganda and reduce chaos per turn. That could work. I am going to try to offer peace to the Aztecs and see if they'll back off. Our strength is about equivalent, so they got a large army that I still haven't run into because they've been fighting the Zulu, but I've taken 2 of their cities. That's going to hurt them. So I kind of am okay with just taking what I've got and running with it. Oh, it also does not help that the Aztecs and Persia just formed an alliance, which means Persia is going to be at war with me in a moment. And the Aztecs do accept peace. Okay, well, at least that resolves that issue. And now we go ahead and spawn a merchant in Texcoco, and we go ahead and start rebuilding its prosperity. Uh-oh, but we are starting to have an intolerance crisis. Where's the issue? We are meeting our needs in Byzantium. Where are we not? Not Mediolanum, not Brasilia, not Caesarea. Where are we not meeting our needs? We should be. We're getting +3. Mediolanum, it says face satisfaction's fine here, but yet somehow it's actually in crisis. I don't know why, but it is. Well, tell you what, we are already linked to Mediolanum with this outpost. Let's just go over here and build a monastery. And does that solve the issue? It says we're doing more than enough. Okay, and that is our 3rd tech in this age. If I built a couple of more ports, we actually could try to shoot for the Age of Discovery. I wish I could see a preview of exactly what came out of this, so I would know if it's really worth doing this. But it feels heroic, so I'm kind of feeling like maybe. Well, can I build 2 more docks real quick? The answer is yeah, I definitely can. 1, and then let's say 2. Boom, perfect. I don't like that people are working in these docks, though. These docks are not very good. So now I should be able to choose the Age of Discovery. It'll take 22 turns. It is a little bit faster than the Age of Renaissance. So I don't know. Maybe that's the big reward. It's just a faster age advance. Oh, and of course now Persia is already working on... Well, dang it. All right, so they're a little faster than me. I'm going to have to use a Eureka or 2 in order to boost this. And even then, maybe I get it, maybe I don't. Well, we can rush some remaining privy councils, which will get me 2 more knowledge. And the reason this gets me 2 is because I never got the level 1 council building in the Age of Stone, so this is going to give me double the boost. It just took longer to build. So that helps. So now I'm making a lot more science per turn. More chaos. Yeah, this is the price of wars. You literally will have, like, 3 of those events for taking 2 cities. It is going to happen. All right, let's Eureka ourselves back ahead. A schedule. Not by much, though. Persia will catch up, but in 6 turns I can do that again. Actually, it looks like I'm starting to pull away from Persia a little bit. Okay, so I'm officially making more science than he is, and next turn I can buy myself another Eureka. We got this! Hey, that's another special age. It's coming at a price, though. I have not been getting any of the stuff that I really need in order to advance theologians any further. If I don't find a way of starting to get some more art, we're going to have a problem, which means I do need to dip back in some old technology. But for now, let's just push forward with what I've got. And here comes a brand new age. Oh, I'm awesome at everything I do! Okay, launch expeditions into cities of golds with conquistadors. And then, if you find them, you can work them for rare goods, discover new reward camps on land and water, new social fabric system is unlocked, and the new governments are unlocked. Okay. So scouts get upgraded into conquistadors. So do I already know of any lost cities? Hang on, there's the Caves of Chiquipil. Aha, that's the only one that I seem to know about, though. Okay. Well, knowing that's the case, let's spawn a conquistador over here and send him to go do his thing. And I can do this quickly because I have exploration XP. Also, let's rush our culture And let's go for a peaceful revolution to the next government immediately. Forget this whole kingdom nonsense. We don't need none of that. Do we want to be an empire, a feudal monarchy, or a republic? Honestly, probably the feudal monarchy. It just makes sense since we have a whole load of loyal vassals. So we can get ourselves a throne room, which is grand. More vassal prosperity, which honestly doesn't matter that much to me. They're already pretty prosperous. But double the improvement points means they develop cities on their own, plus they get extra wealth and so on. Yeah, this is pretty solid, and it means I just want to keep getting more and more cities. I feel like this is the right call. And yeah, we could spend our points and just say, screw it, go for more, let's say more improvement points, and then more government XP from vassals or increased population. More government XP? Yes, that's great. All right, I just spent all my stuff, but we're now getting 10.84 per turn. Okay. And this introduces a whole new other mechanic into the game called social fabric. Yep, this is a thing where you are able to start building up some of the culture of your people. They can be organized, insightful, tenacious, and so on, and all of them provide some sort of a bonus. My opinion, the best one to go for is probably going to be exploration, at least to start. We do like a small research cost reduction. Though expansion costs, yeah, I mean, maybe. Cheaper improvements. Wow, that's a lot of unrest reduction, actually. Huh. Yeah, I don't think I need this, but if I did, this would be very, very helpful. So what do we get in the Age of Discovery? These are all very different. Okay. Printing presses make a lot of paper and books so we can get knowledge out the wazoo. Seems like a very smart decision. We have a lot of lumber in my empire. Open sailing, if we cared about that. Technical engineering. Automachina? Ooh. Giant crossbows and stuff. Sick. Mechanical knights? What do you mean I've got mechanical knights? Ornithopters. See, I actually don't remember this looking like this. Huh, I wonder if one of my test games I got into the Age of Renaissance, and that opened up a bunch of new branching paths, but now that I'm already on the Age of Discovery, I have to get back on track. Fascinating. Well, if I want to have a lot of arts, it does sort of seem like this is the stuff to do with Baroque. Differences would be fun so I can get more innovation when completing a City of Gold expedition, though. But how important is that really? Just a little bit of innovation. Oh boy, all of this is great. I think we're going to start with the printing press, get the research up and running, then go Baroque, and then I'm not sure. We could go Noble Courts, we could go Automechanica, we could go Technical Engineering. Ooh, that's probably the one to go for. This gives me a lot of options to improve my tiles. But honestly, I do think that's a good place for us to end this video. It's already been fairly long. I've been recording for about 4 hours, and we have a very, very, very long way to go. But my empire is looking pretty massive right about now, and we're in a pretty good position to go ahead and start beating the snot out of everyone around us as long as I can stay ahead with my technology. But if we were able to beat the other AIs there, I feel like we are in the running. Oh, look, there's another expedition. Hang on. Spunkatista, thank you, boom. All right. I feel like we're in the running. I feel like we are absolutely in the running for going for a scientific victory here, or at least staying on top of things and making sure I use that to bully all of my neighbors. Ultimately, though, what I hope I've convinced you of is that while this game does show a lot of immediate similarities to games like Civ, Humankind, Old World, and so on, it does have a fair bit of special innovation in this game that really does make it worthwhile. I don't think that the graphics necessarily do it any justice, but I do think mechanically, this is a solid strategy game. I like a lot of the changes that are being made. We've already been able to dip into 2 totally different ages and see how that changes the world. It's pretty cool. Things that I actually wouldn't mind seeing emulated on other kinds of games. Once again, though, of course, a very big thank you to Paradox Interactive for sponsoring today's video. If you guys like what you see and you want to learn more, the game is coming out on March 26th. You can find a link in the description down below, and I would encourage you to click on that link. Otherwise, please consider hitting that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.